Good morning, complete men. Today's episode is about shortening the self-reflection time. And what exactly is that? That is the moment or moments when you actually reflect on the decision that you made regarding whatever it was, whether it's your business or your personal life. This is very important because I see a lot of people struggling with this. What ends up happening is they make a decision, they take action, but they don't really self-reflect until it's too late. And what do I mean by that? I mean that as soon as you start to act, you should be measuring the results. You should be completely aware of how those actions are actually leading to that goal that you actually want. So, for example, this gentleman came to me and he said he hired a brand new chief operating officer, paid a ton of money for this role, for this person to come into this role. And it was, I think we had started discussing this. I think the person was in the role roughly about 3 or 4 months in. And my question to the CEO was, well, how is it going? And the CEO said he's still on the fence. I said, what do you mean by that? He's like, I'm still waiting to see how things play out. And I said, that's a little bit too long. You should be reflecting on your decision almost immediately. You should be analyzing and being aware and measuring the results of your decision almost instantaneously. Because the faster you start self-reflecting, the easier you can actually course correct. This is a core aspect of what we call rapid innovation. And rapid innovation, some people call it lean, some people call it lean startup methodology. This really came around, let's just say, particularly through the Toyota principle, which is all about improving and innovating as you continue to go, but also a combination of what they've done in the SaaS world. So in the software world, when they used to use the waterfall approach, which was more about, hey, let's get this perfect software system out there and then release it. Whereas in today's age and era, basically what people do, what organizations do is they release a beta version, get the feedback, they change it, they modify it, they go out there again, they get the feedback. They're continuously revitalizing and innovating on their software because that is way faster to get to a final product that the market really, really wants. And that whole process is what we call rapid innovation. And in order for you to rapidly innovate, you need to self-reflect or reflect on the results, right? And that is where you review what has actually been happening. So this doesn't just apply to business. This applies to your personal life. This applies to you as an individual. And some people do self-reflect, but some people do it in a destructive way where they are beating themselves up. And they are in a negative state. So here's one rule for self-reflection. It always, always, always must be at least in a neutral or optimistic state. It cannot be in a negative state whatsoever. When you analyze things, when you self-reflect in a negative state, you become more cynical than critical. And someone said this to me years ago. There's a difference between being a critic and a cynic. Where a cynic is someone that just constantly puts things down, where someone that's a critic is actually being objective in terms of it's more constructive. So when you are in a negative state, when you are in a self-defeating state, there's no point in doing self-reflection because you're not going to get anywhere. So be neutral or at least optimistic, right? It takes a little bit of work, but watch what happens when you actually shift from going from a negative state in self-reflection to a neutral state to an optimistic state. Man, the world just opens up to you completely because now your brain is actually firing in a completely different manner. They actually show the effects of negative thinking on creativity. I'm a big fan of this. This is a core aspect of what we teach. If you want to get ahead, you want to solve your problems, you gotta be in an optimistic state. So coming back to your mind shot is to identify something that you are working on. It could be something big, something small, where you haven't self-reflected yet in a neutral or positive state, an optimistic state. You might have done it in a negative state, but not in a neutral or optimistic state. I want you to identify that. Again, the faster you actually self-reflect on your decisions and your actions, the faster you actually make progress towards your goals. That is your mind shot for today. Take a look at one aspect of your life or your business, self-reflect, make sure you're in a neutral or optimistic state, and continue to do that faster. The sooner you self-reflect, again, the faster you make progress. I hope this helps, and I wish you the very best. Take care.